Today we'll be getting into a few stories involving Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley, AJ Lee, Roman Reigns, and more. Let's start things off with Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross. Nikki and Rhea did the unthinkable when they defeated Natalya and Tamina for the WWE Tag Team titles. Nikki and Rhea pulled off the big upset to take those tag titles away from them. It was Rhea Ripley's first tag team title win, and a very historic win for Nikki Cross as well. Nikki Cross became the first ever superstar to win the tag titles 3 times, and also the first to win the titles with different partners, her first 2 reigns being with Alexa Bliss. So all is well for the new tag team, considering the fact that they're now champions. But the issue that fans and now even WWE legends have with the team is that there's a lack of story and reasoning behind the new tag team. Bully Ray explained it perfectly and had this to say during Busted Open Radio. All you have to do is make me understand why a woman like Rhea would want to stand next to a woman like Nikki. I'm talking about the characters. Yes, the characters are in an odd couple, and that's why Vince loves it. It's almost like the old, but can they get along? You want me to understand Nikki and Rhea standing next to each other? Tell me a story of why they are standing next to each other. Have Nikki tell Rhea that I felt the same way you felt before. I know what it's like to be in your shoes. I know what it's like to be unsure of myself. And then talk her up. Now, I want to know why a woman with that stature and the look of Rhea would want to stand next to Nikki, because Nikki was my friend when nobody else wanted to talk to me or be my friend in the WWE. I realize that this is the cutthroat place that I was warned about, but Nikki stood by my side. Isn't that enough of a story for you to get why they would be tagging? Bully Ray is completely right, and this has been something that the fans have pointed out as well. There's a real lack of story behind the new tag team champions. They were opponents with each other at SummerSlam during the triple threat match with Charlotte Flair. They both lose that match. They both automatically lose sight of the Raw Women's title and just randomly decide to tag with each other. That's pretty much the entire story that we were given for the team. So yeah, there were no heavy details on how this team formed. They just randomly appeared on Raw one week as a team and kept teaming from there on. And like Bully Ray said, WWE loves dysfunctional tag teams with superstars who look like they don't belong together. That's one of WWE's main things for tag teams. You look at tag teams like Team Hell No, and you see exactly that. Danielle Bryan and Kane, 2 characters with nothing in common and don't belong with each other. But it ended up working and being highly entertaining. They couldn't stand each other at the beginning. They went to therapy. It was a great story and journey for Team Hell No. It just worked. So that's probably some of the things that were on their minds when they put Nikki and Rhea together. But where they missed out at with Nikki and Rhea was the absence of a story for their formation. Rhea Ripley has always been known as being this lone wolf sort of character, not having much friends at all because she's different and didn't have much in common with anyone else. That was her thing. And like Bully Ray said, that could have been the story. Everyone is backstabbing Two-Face in WWE. But Nikki was the one true genuine person that Rhea came across, and it just clicked. So if we saw that unfold leading up to their formation, then it would have been amazing and have no issues at all. But the two of them to be thrown together out of nowhere and then win the titles a few weeks later did make you feel a bit weird. Something was missing there. And that was the proper story and purpose behind the pairing. Some fans are also calling out the team for feeling a bit similar to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Nikki started off as an eager, innocent babyface that was excited to have Alexa Bliss as a friend. But Alexa was still heel and couldn't care less about Nikki Cross at the start of their pairing. Of course, their friendship evolved over time, and they did in fact become close best friends. But maybe this is leading towards a bigger story. Maybe when the team splits up, it'll be Rhea Ripley who turns heel, and that leads us to the big story between the two of them. Either way, now that they're tag team champions, we should get more TV time with them, and maybe they start building that story soon. For the first time in 6 years, AJ Mendez, formerly known as AJ Lee in WWE, will be making a wrestling-related return and appearance. Glamour Under the Stars and Sorrentino Promotions have confirmed that AJ Mendez will be making an appearance at the big event on November 13th. Their description says that it's a rare appearance for AJ and that she'll be making her big event debut. From what is being reported, AJ's just there for an autograph session with the fans. Doesn't seem like she'll actually be stepping foot in the ring. But either way, this still counts as a rare wrestling-related appearance for AJ. She hasn't really had many appearances like this one on a wrestling show since leaving WWE. So even though it's most likely just a meet and greet session, it's still a pretty big deal considering how rarely she does these things. As far as her latest on returning to the ring, CM Punk was recently asked this question again during an interview with WFan Radio and had this to say about AJ ever wrestling again. I would love to see it. I get asked that question every single time I do an interview, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't think she wants to do it because she's a teeny tiny person and she has a bad neck. I think the shelf life for females in wrestling a full schedule, is a lot shorter. It's a lot smaller than men. And I think she's so focused on what she's doing now, writing screenplays. Like CM Punk said, he does get asked that question a lot, and he always has the same answer. AJ has a very bad neck and a very little free time due to her creative writing. So that's what's making her return seem impossible. But even AJ herself said, never say never, about a return to the ring. So we would have to wait it out. Roman Reigns made a special appearance this week on Raw, even wrestling 2 matches for Raw. But there wasn't much of a story really told on Raw, and understandably so. They're probably saving everything for Smackdown. But it'll be interesting to see how his Raw appearance impacts his Smackdown storylines and his overall story. Will his problems with Big E and Bobby Lashley continue over the next few weeks? Or will that be all on hold until Survivor Series season starts? That's a good question to ask. Like we mentioned last week, it's pretty hectic to list all the storylines and feuds surrounding Roman Reigns right now. You have everything with Finn, Brock, Heyman, the Usos, the Street Profits, Big E, now Bobby Lashley, and much more. He's feuding and talking on issues with just about everyone on the roster. Even SmackDown's Shotzi Blackheart joked around and tweeted out, "Can I feud with Roman Reigns too?" And it's funny that Shotzi mentioned this because this has been a theory for a long time. And that's a question of, would Roman want to compete dominance over the SmackDown roster by having the women's title in the bloodline as well? Sort of having his influence on the women's division through a woman in his family that was a part of the bloodline. Someone like Naomi, Nia, and so on, like who we've been talking about for months now. So if that happens, Shotzi may get her wish. That may be a way of being a distant part of Roman's story. Just have to wait for him to add a woman to the bloodline. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.